The images speak volumes, and you don't have to see much to understand that when disaster strikes, the devastation touches everyone. And if the unthinkable happens, everyone needs help. But social scientists have created another way to rethink the unthinkable. It's called the Social Vulnerability Index.
The idea behind social vulnerability being that you could have, for any hazard, whether it's coastal or tornado or earthquake, you could have sort of towns that are physically the same. In the case of flooding, maybe the same elevation or the same exposure to the open ocean or bay, but they might react very differently to the same type of hazard and therefore have a different degree of disaster.
The Social Vulnerability Index, or SVI, refers to the social circumstances that place an individual or a group of people at heightened risk. Vulnerability is related to the risk for loss, something that depends on social circumstances. And those social circumstances are determined by analyzing, interpreting, and applying the mounds of data found in the U.S. Census. That includes income, age, education, and ethnicity.
So the basic one you might think about is income. If you have, say, more rich people, you assume maybe they have a bit more extra on the side. They might be able to deal with it. They have losses that come through a certain event. Or it might be if you have a certain degree of the population which is a bit on the older side, they might be harder to evacuate due to medical reasons or other things quickly when a storm comes along. Therefore, just on that preparation side. Then even on the recovery side, there's also other factors ranging from ethnicity, or say then if you have a high percentage of non-English speakers that might not get all the right information for preparation or recovery, the steps you're supposed to take.
Social scientists have talked about the need for governments to use some form of a social vulnerability index in their planning for years. But it was Hurricane Katrina that focused attention on the need for governments to change their disaster response from simply repairing buildings and addressing the physical impact of a storm to taking into account the people who are affected by an event.
If you are a large urban area, you might be looking at trying to figure out exactly neighborhood by neighborhood when a storm occurs, where some of the folks are who may have less access to resources for evacuation, or fewer funds available to recover structures that have been flooded.
In North Carolina, that shift in thinking for disaster planning is most evident in coastal communities, which face the continuous hazards of hurricanes and storm surge and severe ocean storms. While no county or community has fully adopted the SVI, North Carolina Sea Grant is helping planners work the index into their emergency plans. Across the state, there is interest in seeing how the index can be applied to any issue in which a community sees itself as vulnerable.
One of the trends we're seeing in local governments is that they're very interested in mapping their local risk to hazards. And that can be, hazards can be just any number of things. It can be extreme weather events, it can be sea level rise, it can be anything else that, anything else that they deem to be a hazard, drought, heat waves, and things of that nature. And so we have a lot of national level data that's out there, and local governments are interested in what their risk is, not just the risk to hazards, but also the local vulnerabilities. And so the interest is in getting that localized information, developing those local maps so they can use that information to better direct resources, perhaps to make any adjustments to their land use plan or their disaster plan, and that is something that can be used to help emergency managers, land use planners, local officials, and getting that information out to their constituents, the people in the neighborhoods, so they understand what their risk is, and so they can plan personally for what it is that they need to do when there's a storm.